I'm here with James Tucker, the executive producer of The Death of Superman. I'm sure this is somewhat of a common question, but this story was broached before. We did Superman Doomsday a while back. Where did the decision come from to get back to this source material?
The thing with Doomsday is a lot of people felt they weren't able to basically tell the complete story. They got Superman dead, but they had to really truncate and compress the tail end of the story, which for a lot of fans is the emergence of the other Superman. Mm-hmm. And so that all got cut out. And so with this, they came in and said, we give you 2 movies to tell this story. Can it be done? And I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, you know. So whereas The Death of Superman was the first act of Doomsday, that's our whole movie. Yeah. You know, I mean, we show the ramifications of it. We show who Superman is before he's killed, what it means to the fans and the audience, and also the people in his life, what his death means. And then we show a little bit of the aftermath of the fallout from, you know, what happens when Superman's gone. And so that's something most other iterations of this story haven't really been able to do. I think the closest one we ever did was an episode of Justice League called Hereafter. But again, that wasn't this story. It just happened to have the death of Superman. And so when I thought about adapting the story, that's pretty much what I thought about, was how we treated his death in that story. And because we gave a lot of attention to how the Justice League feels and how the people in his life feel and what does it feel like to the world to lose Superman. And so so in that way, it was easy to kind of wrap my mind around how to treat this part. The second part's a little more challenging, and we'll talk about that in another 6 months. Sure. But yeah.
Great. So you have adapted so many iconic stories already from the comic books, so many more to come. How do you decide which ones to intertwine into the existing continuity and which ones to do as one-offs?
Well, for me, the way our labor is split up, Bruce Timm handles all the one-offs that just don't fit in any kind of... I would say he handles the Elseworld type stories.
Sure. Okay.
And I was tasked with building a continuity that we could use and carry over. And in some cases, stories lend themselves to having a continuity, like Judas Contract. A lot of people want that story, and they tried it in the past as a standalone. It doesn't really have the impact unless you have a prior movie. You set up who the Titans were, what their connection is, and then you can do the Terra story. And has more impact because you're not, you just have more time to set it up. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of a given that would be part of a continuity that we already have. There's other ones coming up that I can't talk about that are in continuity as well that work because we have set up these characters. It really works when there's multiple characters from a lot of different story sources. Like, there's certain events where Superman guest stars in a Batman comic or something. And it helps to have a continuity to draw from. So it works better than it would as a standalone. Okay. And so it's a judgment call, really. Sure. So, Gotham by Gaslight, that's a standalone. Yeah. Red Sun, if they do it, is a standalone, more than likely. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I look forward to Death of Superman and the subsequent Reign of Superman after that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.